The Bombardier-8 or Q series, previously known as the de Havilland Canada-8 or DHC-8, is a series of twin-engine, medium-range, turboprop airliners. Introduced by de Havilland Canada, DHC, in 1984, they are now produced by Bombardier Aerospace. Over 1,000 -8s of all models have been built. The -8 was developed from the de Havilland Canada-7, which featured extreme short takeoff and landing, STOL, performance. With the -8, DHC focused on improving cruise performance and lowering operational costs. The engine chosen was the Pratt & Whitney Canada PW100. The aircraft has been delivered in 4 series. The Series 100 has a maximum capacity of 39, the Series 200 has the same capacity but offers more powerful engines, the Series 300 is a stretched, 50-seat version, and the Series 400 is further stretched to 78 passengers. Models delivered after 1997 have cabin noise suppression and are designated with the prefix Q. Production of the Series 100 ceased in 2005, and the Q200 and Q300 in 2009. Design and development. In the 1970s, de Havilland Canada had invested heavily in its -7 project, concentrating on STOL and short-field performance, the company's traditional area of expertise. Using 4 medium-power engines with large 4-blade propellers resulted in comparatively lower noise levels, which combined with its excellent STOL characteristics, made the -7 suitable for operating from small in-city airports, a market DHC felt would be compelling. However, only a handful of air carriers employed the -7, as most regional airlines were more interested in operational costs than short-field performance. In 1980, de Havilland responded by dropping the short-field performance requirement and adapting the basic -7 layout to use only 2, more powerful engines. Its favored engine supplier, Pratt & Whitney Canada, developed the new PW100 series engines for the role, more than doubling the power from its PT6. Originally designated the PT7A2R engine, it later became the PW120. When the -8 rolled out on April 19, 1983, more than 3,800 hours of testing had been accumulated over 2 years on 5 PW100 series test engines. Certification of the PW120 followed in late 1983. Distinguishing features of the -8 design are the large T-tail intended to keep the tail free of prop wash during takeoff, a very high aspect ratio wing, the elongated engine nacelles also holding the rearward folding landing gear, and the pointed nose profile. First flight was on June 20, 1983, and the airliner entered service in 1984 with Norontair. In 1984, Piedmont Airlines, formerly Henson Airlines, was the first U.S. customer for the -8. The -8 design has better cruise performance than the -7, is less expensive to operate, and is much less expensive to maintain, due largely to having only 2 engines. It is a little noisier than the -7 and cannot match the STOL performance of its earlier DHC forebears, although it is still able to operate from small airports with 3,000 feet, 910 m, runways, compared to the 2,200 feet, 670 m, required by a fully laden -7. In April 2008, Bombardier announced that production of the classic versions, Series 100, 200, 300, would be ended, leaving the Series 400 as the only -8 still in production. A total of 671 -8 classics were produced. The last one was delivered to Air Nelson in May 2008. At the February 2016 Singapore Air Show, Bombardier announced a high-density 90-seat layout of the Q400 which should enter service in 2018, keeping the 28 in, 71 cm, seat pitch of the Nok Air 86 seats. An extra row of seats is allowed by changing the configuration of the front right-hand door and moving back the aft pressure bulkhead. The payload is increased by 2,000 pounds, 910 kilograms, and the aircraft maintenance check intervals are increased, 800 hours from 600 for an A check and 8,000 hours from 6,000 for a C check. Bombardier wants to produce the Q400 more economically, as its machinists union allowed in June 2017 assembly of the wings and cockpit section outside Canada and searches for potential partners. The cockpit section was expected to be produced in Bombardier's plant in Querétaro, Mexico, as the wings would be outsourced to China's Shenyang Aircraft Corp., which already builds the Q400's center fuselage. Q400 stretch. Bombardier proposed development of a Q400 stretch with two plug-in segments, called the Q400X project, in 2007. In response to this project, as of November 2007, ATR was studying a 90-seat stretch. In June 2009, Bombardier Commercial Aircraft President Gary Scott indicated that the Q400X will be definitely part of our future for possible introduction in 2013-14, although he has not detailed the size of the proposed version or committed to an introduction date. As of July 2010, Bombardier's Vice President, Philippe Pautisseux, made comments explaining the company was still studying the prospects of designing the Q400X and talking with potential customers. At the time, Bombardier was not as committed to the Q400X as it had been previously. As of May 2011, Bombardier was still strongly committed to the stretch, but envisioned it as more likely as a 2015 or later launch. Complicating launch date matters were new power plants to come online in 2016 from GE and PwC. As of February 2012, Bombardier was still studying the issue, but as of 2011, the launch date is no longer targeted for the 2014 range. At least a 3-year delay was envisioned. In October 2012, a joint development deal with a government-led South Korean consortium was revealed, to develop a 90-seater turboprop regional airliner, targeting a 2019 launch date. The consortium would include Korea Aerospace Industries and Korean Airlines. Operational history. The Dash 8 was introduced at a particularly advantageous time. Most airlines were in the process of adding new aircraft to their fleets as the airline industry expanded greatly in the 1980s. The older generation of regional airliners from the 1950s and 1960s was nearing retirement, leading to high sales figures. De Havilland Canada was unable to meet the demand with sufficient production. In 1988, Boeing bought the company in a bid to improve production at DHC's Downsview Airport plants, as well as better position itself to compete for a new Air Canada order for large intercontinental airliners. Air Canada was a Crown corporation at the time, and both Boeing and Airbus were competing heavily via political channels for the contract. It was eventually won by Airbus, which received an order for 34 A320 aircraft in a highly controversial move. The allegations of bribery are today known as the Airbus affair. Following its failure in the competition, Boeing immediately put de Havilland Canada up for sale. The company was eventually purchased by Bombardier in 1992. All Dash 8s delivered from the second quarter of 1996, including all Series 400s, include the active noise and vibration system designed to reduce cabin noise and vibration levels to nearly those of jet airliners. To emphasize their quietness, Bombardier renamed the Dash 8 models as the Q-Series turboprops, Q200, Q300, and Q400. The Dash 8-100 is no longer in production, with the last Dash 8-102 built in 2005. Production of the Q200 and Q300 ceased in May 2009. Regional jet competition. The introduction of the regional jet altered the sales picture. Although more expensive than turboprops, regional jets allow airlines to operate passenger services on routes not suitable for turboprops. Turboprop aircraft have lower fuel consumption and can operate from shorter runways than regional jets, but have higher engine maintenance costs, shorter ranges, and lower cruising speeds. The market for new aircraft to replace existing turboprops once again grew in the mid-1990s, and DHC responded with the improved Series 400 design. When world oil prices drove up short-haul airfares in 2006, an increasing number of airlines that had bought regional jets began to reassess turboprop regional airliners, which use about 30 to 60% less fuel than regional jets. Although the market was not as robust as in the 1980s when the first Dash 8s were introduced, 2007 had increased sales of the only 240-plus seat regional turboprops still in Western production, Bombardier's Q400 and its competitor, the ATR series of 50 to 70 seat turboprops. The Q400 has a cruising speed close to that of most regional jets, and its mature engines and systems require less frequent maintenance, reducing its disadvantage. According to Bombardier marketing, the aircraft breaks even with about a third of its seats filled, or a quarter with more closely spaced seats, making it particularly attractive on routes with varying passenger numbers where many seats would be empty on some flights. For example, Island Air in Hawaii calculated that the use of a 50-seat regional jet would break even at 45 passenger seats compared to the Q400's 35 to 36 seats, around 55% break-even load factor. Most short-haul routes are less than 350 miles, 500 kilometers, so the time spent on taxiing, taking off, and landing virtually eliminates a competing jet speed advantage. As the Q400's 360 knot, 414 miles per hour, 667 kilometers per hour, cruise speed approaches jet speeds, short-haul airlines can usually replace a regional jet with a Q400 without changing their gate-to-gate schedules. Bombardier has singled out the Q400 for more aggressive marketing, launching a website centered around the aircraft. The aircraft is also being considered for a further stretched version, currently designated Q400X, to compete in the 90-seat market range. In 2016, Bombardier began offering the Q400 in a 90-seat high-density variant, without a fuselage stretch or major redesign. Variants: Series 100, DHC-8-100 series. Original 37 to 39 passenger version that entered service in 1984. The original engine was the PW120A, CAA validated on December 13, 1985. Later units used the PW121, CAA validated on February 22, 1990. Rated engine power is 1,800 shop, 1,340 kilowatts. DHC 8-101. 1984 variant powered by either two PW120 or PW120A engines and a 33,000 pounds, 15,000 kilograms, takeoff weight. DHC 8-102. 1986 variant powered by either two PW120A or PW121 engines and a 34,500 pounds, 15,650 kilograms, takeoff weight. DHC 8-103. 1987 variant powered by two PW121 engines and a 34,500 pounds, 15,650 kilograms, takeoff weight, can be modified for a 35,200 pounds takeoff weight. DHC 8-102A. 1990 variant powered by two PW120A engines with revised Heathkna interior. DHC 8-106. 1992 variant powered by two PW121 engines and a 36,300 pounds, 16,450 kilograms, takeoff weight. DHC 8M100. Two aircraft for maritime pollution surveillance, operated by Transport Canada, equipped with the MSS 6000 surveillance system. CC-142. Military transport version for the Canadian Forces in Europe. CT-142. Military navigation training version for the Canadian Forces. Used to train Canadian and Allied nations ACSOs and ESOPs. E-9A widget. A United States Air Force range control aircraft equipped with an/APS-143, V, 1 radar that operates out of Tyndall AFB, Florida to ensure that the overwater military ranges in the Gulf of Mexico are clear of civilian boats and aircraft during live fire tests of air-launched missiles and other hazardous military activities. 2 aircraft are assigned to the 82D Aerial Targets Squadron for the support of training missions. An E-9 can detect a person in a life raft in the water up to 25 miles away. Series 200. DHC-8-200 Series. Series 100 airframe with more powerful Pratt & Whitney Canada PW123 engines, rated at 2,150 shop or 1,600 kilowatts, for improved performance, also capable of carrying 37 to 39 passengers. DHC-8-201. 1995 variant powered by 2 PW123C engines. DHC-8-202. 1995 variant powered by 2 PW123D engines. Q200. Version of the DHC-8-200 with the ANVS system. Series 300. DHC-8-300 series. Stretched 3.43 meters, 11.3 feet, over the Series 100/200, a 50 to 56 passenger version that entered service in 1989. The Q300 is powered by the Pratt & Whitney PW123 or PW123B or PW123E, rated at 2,380 to 2,500 shop or 1,774 to 1,864 kilowatts. DHC-8-301. 1989 variant powered by 2 PW123 engines. DHC-8-311. 1990 variant powered by 2 PW123A engines with revised Heathna interior. In addition, the landing gear design changed to a slightly swept-back design intended to prevent tail strikes. DHC-8-314. 1992 variant powered by 2 PW123B engines. DHC-8-315. 1995 variant powered by 2 PW123E engines. DHC-8-300A. Version of the DHC-8-300 with increased payload. Q300. Version of the DHC-8-300 with the ANVS system. DHC-8-300 MSA. Upgraded variant with L3 for maritime surveillance platform. RO6A. United States military designation for the DHC-8-315 for the United States Army as a reconnaissance platform. Series 400. DHC-8-400. 1999 variant with a maximum of 68 passengers. DHC-8-401. 1999 variant with a maximum of 70 passengers. DHC-8-402. 1999 variant with a maximum of 78 passengers. Q400. Stretched and improved 70 to 78 passenger version that entered service in 2000. Its 360 knot, 667 km per hour, cruise speed is 60 to 90 knots, 111 to 166 km per hour, higher than its competitors and predecessors. Powered by PW150A engines rated at 5,071 shop, 3,781 kilowatts, at maximum power, 4,850 shop or 3,620 kilowatts maximum continuous rated. The maximum operating altitude is 25,000 feet, 7,600 m, for the standard version, although a version with drop-down oxygen masks is offered, which increases maximum operating altitude to 27,000 feet, 8,200 m. All Q400s include the ANVS system. Q400 Next Gen. Version of the Q400 with updated cabins, lighting, windows, overhead bins, landing gear, as well as reduced fuel and maintenance costs. The extra capacity variant accommodates a maximum of 86 passengers. In 2016, Bombardier began to offer the Q400 Next Gen in a 90-passenger high-density variant. Q400MR. 2 Q400 adapted to the water bombing role by Cascade Aerospace for the French Sécurité Civile. This tanker can carry 2,600 US gallons of retardant, foam or water and travel at 340 knots. DHC-8 MPAD-8. 2007 converted for use as a maritime patrol aircraft. DHC-8-402PF. 2008 converted pallet freighter variant with a payload of 9,000 kilograms. Q400cc. Cargo Combi. Seats 50 passengers plus 8,200 pounds of payload. First delivered in 2015. Accidents and incidents. Notable accidents. April 15, 1988, Horizon Air Flight 2658, operated by DHC-8-102N819PH suffered an engine fire on climb out from Seattle/Tacoma International Airport. An emergency landing was made but the aircraft struck equipment on the ground before crashing into two jetways. N819PH was destroyed by fire, there were no fatalities. November 21, 1990, a Bangkok Airways DHC-8-103 crashed on KOH Samui while attempting to land in heavy rain and high winds. All 38 people on board died. January 6, 1993, Lufthansa CityLine Flight 5634 crashed short of the runway near Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, France. 4 of the 23 passengers and crew died. June 9, 1995, Ansett New Zealand Flight 703, a -8-102 flying from Auckland Airport to Palmerston North crashed on the western slopes of the Tararua Ranges and 16 kilometers east of Palmerston North Airport during an instrument approach in inclement weather. 4 occupants died. February 12, 2009, Colgan Air Flight 3407 AQ400, from Newark Liberty International Airport to Buffalo Niagara International Airport, stalled and crashed into a house in Clarence Center, New York, while preparing to land at the airport. All 49 people on board, including 4 crew, and 1 off-duty pilot, in addition to 1 person on the ground, died. 2 other people on the ground received minor injuries. The National Transportation Safety Board determined that the aircraft had no known mechanical or computer malfunctions, including the autopilot, and pilot error, including a startle and confusion response by the captain, was the main cause of the accident. November 23, 2009, a DHC-8-200, being operated on behalf of United States Africa Command, made an emergency landing at Tarikigni, Mali, and was substantially damaged when the undercarriage collapsed and the starboard wing was ripped off. The accident was caused by the aircraft running out of fuel 29 seconds before the crash. The captain had opted not to refuel at the previous departure airport. October 13, 2011, an airline's PNG-8-102, registration P2MCJ, crashed about 20 kilometers, 12 miles, south of Madane in Papua New Guinea while en route from Laos with 32 people on board. The aircraft subsequently ignited, resulting in 28 deaths. Both pilots, as well as a flight attendant and a passenger, survived. Following the accident, Airlines PNG grounded its fleet of 12-8 aircraft. The crash was determined to be caused by pilot error. April 9, 2012, Air Tanzania-85HMWG was written off at Kigoma Airport, Tanzania in an aborted takeoff. All 39 people on board survived. September 30, 2015, Zaire Flight 9562 experienced an aborted takeoff accident at Saarbrücken Airport in Germany. The Bombardier Q400LXLGH was damaged beyond repair when it settled back onto the runway after the gear was raised prematurely. The aircraft slid 2,400 feet and came to a stop with more than 1,100 feet remaining of the 6,562-foot paved runway. None of the 20 occupants were injured. March 12, 2018, U.S. Bangla Airlines Flight 211, registration S2AGU crashed on landing at Tribhuvan International Airport at 2:20 p.m. NST. The aircraft was destroyed by fire. Among 71 persons on board including crews and pilot, 51 crew and passengers were killed. Major landing gear accidents. In September 2007, two separate accidents of similar landing gear failures occurred within 4 days of each other on SAS-8 Q400 aircraft. A third accident occurred in October 2007, leading to the withdrawal of the type from the airline's fleet. On September 9, 2007, the crew of Scandinavian Airlines, SAS, Flight 1209, en route from Copenhagen to Aalborg, reported problems with the locking mechanism of the right side landing gear, and Aalborg Airport was prepared for an emergency landing. Shortly after touchdown, the right main gear collapsed and the airliner skidded off the runway while fragments of the right propeller shot against the cabin and the right engine caught fire. Of 69 passengers and 4 crew on board, 11 were sent to hospital, 5 with minor injuries. The accident was filmed by a local news channel, TV2 Nord, and broadcast live on national television. 3 days later, on September 12, Scandinavian Airlines Flight 2748 from Copenhagen to Palanga had a similar problem with the landing gear, forcing the aircraft to land in Vilnius International Airport, Lithuania. No passengers or crew were injured. Immediately after this accident, SAS grounded all 33 Q400 airliners in its fleet and, a few hours later, Bombardier recommended that all Q400s with more than 10,000 flights be grounded until further notice. This affected about 60 aircraft, out of 140 Q400s then in service. On October 27, 2007, Scandinavian Airlines Flight 2867 en route from Bergen to Copenhagen had severe problems with the landing gear during landing in Kastrup Airport. The right wing gear did not deploy properly, or partially, and the aircraft skidded off the runway in a controlled emergency landing. The Q400 was carrying 38 passengers, 2 infants, and 4 crew members on board. No injuries were reported. The next day, SAS permanently removed its entire -8 Q400 fleet from service. In a press release on October 28, 2007, the company's president said, "Confidence in the Q400 has diminished considerably and our customers are becoming increasingly doubtful about flying in this type of aircraft. Accordingly, with the board of directors' approval, I have decided to immediately remove -8 Q400 aircraft from service." The preliminary Danish investigation determined the latest Q400 incident was unrelated to the airline's earlier corrosion problems, in this particular case caused by a misplaced O-ring found blocking the orifice in the restrictor valve. In all, 8 Q400s had landing gear failures while landing during 2007, 4 in Denmark, 1 in Germany, 1 in Japan, 1 in Lithuania and 1 in South Korea. In November 2007, it was revealed that the Swedish Civil Aviation Administration had begun an investigation and found Scandinavian Airlines system culpable of cutting corners in its maintenance department. The airline reportedly made 2,300 flights in which safety equipment was not up to standard. On March 10, 2008, SAS ordered 27 more aircraft from Bombardier in a compensation deal, 14 Q400 next-gen turboprops and 13 CRJ900 jets. Roll turboprop airliner. Manufacturer de Havilland, Canada. Bombardier Aerospace. First flight June 20, 1983. Introduction 1984 with Norontair. Status in production. Primary users Jazz. United Express. Flybe. Horizon Air. Produced 1983, present. Number built 1242, as of December 31, 2017. Unit cost. Q432.2 million US dollars. Developed from de Havilland Canada-7.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.